People think age makes you irrelevant, that you fade into the background once the wrinkles show. But let me tell you something. Age is not weakness. It's a weapon, forged from experience. For 30 years, I worked as a senior architect in Manhattan. My fingerprints were on some of the tallest skyscrapers and boldest bridges in the city. I gave my heart and soul to the firm. While others came and went, I was steady, reliable, the one they turned to in a crisis. But when I turned 60, suddenly I was too old. It started small. Jokes from younger colleagues, a roll of the eyes when I shared an idea. Then, one afternoon in a boardroom meeting, my junior manager, a man I had trained myself, leaned back in his chair and smirked. "You're old, you're slow, and you're holding us back. This is a new era. You're nothing now." The room laughed with him. That moment cut deeper than any betrayal I'd faced. Not just because of the words, but because of the truth behind the eyes of those around me. They believed him. 2 months later, they pushed me into early retirement, 30 years of service, reduced to a farewell cake and a thin envelope. But here's the thing. They thought they buried me. They didn't realize I was a seed. I spent the first few weeks in silence. My wife encouraged me to rest, but revenge was growing in my chest. Not the messy, angry kind. The cold, calculated kind. I reached out to old contacts, developers, investors, city planners, men and women who still respected me, who knew my worth, and I discovered something shocking. My old firm had become reckless under its new leadership. They were cutting corners, ignoring safety regulations, chasing flashy designs without proper engineering. So I started my own practice. Small, quiet, nothing fancy, just me and 2 bright interns who reminded me of myself decades ago. We worked from my home office at first, but here's where experience beats youth. I didn't need to prove myself. My reputation already did that. Slowly, projects trickled in. A boutique hotel, a mid-sized office building. Then one day the call came. A major city contract, a high-rise in downtown Brooklyn, the same project my old firm was bidding for. I sharpened my proposal like a blade. Detailed, flawless, innovative, but rooted in the kind of wisdom you can't fake. When the council reviewed both pitches, guess who they chose? Twice my former firm lost the contract, and millions in potential revenue. I could practically hear the panic in their glass tower, but I wasn't done. Remember those safety shortcuts they had been taking? I had kept records. Emails, memos, reports they brushed aside. I anonymously forwarded them to city inspectors. Within weeks, multiple projects were halted for violations. Investors pulled out. Clients withdrew. The firm began bleeding money, scrambling to survive. And as fate would have it, my practice was ready to expand. Disillusioned employees, many of whom once mocked me, began knocking on my door, begging for a place in my growing company. I hired the best. Left the arrogant ones to sink with the ship. 2 years later, my firm stood as one of the fastest growing in New York, and the company that once called me nothing was forced into bankruptcy. But here's the sweetest twist. The junior manager, the man who humiliated me in that boardroom, he now works as a contractor, desperate for jobs. I ran into him at a construction site last fall. His hard hat was dented, his clothes dusty, his pride gone. He looked at me and muttered, "I didn't know you had this in you." I smiled and replied, "That's because you only saw my age. You never saw my fire." Here's what I want you to take from this. Never let anyone convince you that you're done because of a number. Age is not the end. Age is the arsenal. It's every lesson, every scar, every victory rolled into one. So, to anyone feeling cast aside, mocked or underestimated, rise, build. Prove them wrong not with words, but with success so loud it drowns their laughter. And if you believe that revenge is sweetest when it's silent and strategic, hit like right now. Share this story with someone who needs hope. And subscribe, because more stories of betrayal, brutal comebacks, and legendary revenge are on the way. Stay sharp. Stay legendary.